Hey, what's up guys, Adam here, and I've talked about budgeting several times on this channel. I've joked about the idea and how people tend to stray away from doing budgeting, and I've also talked a lot about the zero-based budget. So today I think it's high time I show you exactly how the zero-based budget works. Now, the template that I'm going to be showing you today is a custom template that I have created and I use myself. And that template is going to be available from my Etsy store, and the link will be in the description down below. And it's going to be available for less than a Starbucks coffee and a cookie. So what's it going to be, guys? Is it going to be a budgeting template, or is it going to be a Starbucks coffee? Let me know which one is going to get you to financial freedom quicker. But all jokes aside though, guys, there's actually three types of budgeting techniques that are primarily used today. So the first of which is the zero-based budget, the main one that we're going to be talking about today. There's also what's known as the percentage-based budget, by where you take your income, you take a look at where your income needs to go, whether that be towards your recurring bills, your investments, or your savings, and you basically split it out by percentage. So you might decide to put 50% towards your recurring bills, another 25% towards your investment, and another 25% towards your liquid savings. That's another example that we've got right there. And the final budgeting technique that is available that people still use is known as the envelope budgeting technique. Now, this is a very old system that probably our grandparents would have used well before the time of online banking and online budgeting methods. This is what they would have used. They would have essentially taken their salary. They would have literally had their salary in cash. So there would have been no online transactions or anything like that. They would have had their salary, their take-home pay in cash, and they'd have envelopes prepared for that specific cash and where it needs to go. So they'd have an envelope with, say, their monthly food budget, another envelope with their recreational spending, another envelope for their rent or their mortgage, and they literally have an envelope, a separate envelope with a certain amount on there, and from their salary they would take that amount and deposit it in the envelope, and that way that will prevent them from actually overspending on that particular area. So a very old-fashioned method. It definitely worked for our grandparents. So if you're looking to use that method, I suppose it would work for you as well. But that's enough about other methods. Of course, you've come to this video today to look at the zero-based budgeting method. So let's go ahead and jump over into Excel and see what this template is all about. Okay guys, so here we are then in my budgeting template. Now, as you can see, we have 9 different tables here, and I'm going to be breaking down all of these tables, exactly how they work and what you need to do within each table. Now, I believe in keeping it fairly simple and fairly straightforward. And I think by keeping it straightforward, we can just simply focus on our budget. So we're not having to do any complex calculations here. Everything is already worked within this budget. All you need to do is enter in the numbers. So the data within this table isn't anything to do with my personal salary or my personal income streams. This is just a prime example of how a typical person's income stream may look. So these aren't my own personal numbers. The numbers that are in here are purely for example purposes. So guys, let's then take a look at the very first table that we have, and that is the table for our income stream. So as you can see, we have our primary salary. And before we get into it, I must say that these numbers that I've got in here for the actual income stream, this is the income stream after tax. So make sure when you're entering this data, you're not entering in your net income streams. You want to enter in just your after tax income streams within here. So just to bear that in mind. So right at the top, of course, we have our primary salary. This is pretty much where the majority of people are going to be making the majority of their income. So of course, we want to have that at the top of the list. Then, of course, we have our secondary job. So this is going to be our secondary salary. It could be a part-time job, a side hustle. You may, do some Amazon Flex driving on the weekends. You may braid hair on the weekends. You may deliver pizzas. Anything in that realm that you do a couple of days in the week on top of your primary job. Of course, again, you want to take that income stream and add it to the list. Again, you want to make sure that it's the after-tax value. So as you can see, I've also added a business stream within this table as well. So this would be someone who may have an online store, they may do drop shipping, they may do affiliate marketing, they may sell books online. This is where you want to include that particular stream, and once again, it needs to be the value that you get after taxes. And finally, we have another stream that's going to be coming from dividends or investments. Now, it's very important that you don't just include, say, a stocks and shares returns in here, unless you're going to be using that as part of your monthly budget and part of your living. Then you don't want to include anything that you're going to be getting and just simply reinvesting. So when I say investments and dividends, this is purely for investments and dividends that you're going to be using as income, not to reinvest to make any further interest or gains. Hopefully that makes sense. Then of course, at the bottom of the income stream table, we have our grand total. So as you can see in this case, our grand total is £3,020 after tax. So beneath the income stream table, we have the debt table. Yes, the almighty debt. Of course, we can't do a monthly budget without factoring in any debts that we may have or may make on a monthly basis. Now, as you can see, we have the typical debts that people tend to have, and that is of course a credit card payment worth £200 per month, and we also have a car payment worth £120 per month. Now, I wouldn't include something like a student loan in here, mainly if you are based in the UK. Now, I actually made a video, Dave Ramsey's 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. And one of the differences between the 7 steps in the US versus the 7 steps in the UK is that Dave says you need to pay down all of your consumer debt, but he includes student loans in the US because the student loan system works a lot differently in the US than it does here in the UK. When it comes to our student loan repayment, it works more of a graduate tax rather than an actual loan that you have to pay back, mainly because the student loans in the UK actually write themselves after 30 years or when you hit the age of 50. And the amount that you pay back is also very dependent on your salary. So if you have a fairly low salary, under £26,000, then you won't actually have to pay any loan back at all. So that way we don't tend to include student loan payments as a form of debt here in the UK, even though it technically is. The way we look at it, it's more of a graduate tax based on how you actually pay it back versus how you pay it back in the US. So once again, hopefully that makes sense, especially for those that are watching in the UK. You don't have to necessarily put down your student loans as part of your debt repayment within this monthly budgeting template. So then if we move over to the right hand side, we have our recurring bills. These are going to be our bills that are going to be fixed throughout the year with no fluctuation. This of course tends to be things like our rent. As you can see, our rent or mortgage I've got down here as £600, gas bill, electric bill, gym membership, water bill, internet, phone plan, business car insurance, everything like that, with all that has a fixed monthly payment will all need to be placed within this recurring bills section. Now, of course, this may change from month to month, and if it does, that's fine. But 9 times out of 10, these types of bills, so to speak, tend to stay fairly fixed over the same year. So then moving on to the right hand side, we have my personal favorite column, and it should be yours as well. And this is going to be our investments. This is where we're going to be making any contributions towards our investments, anything that is going to be generating us an income over the long term. So as you can see on the top of the list, we have an innovative finance ISA. And I've actually done a full breakdown video talking about the different types of ISAs that are available in the UK. If you want to take a look at that video, I'll leave it in the info card above, where we break down all the different types of ISAs that are available in the UK and available for 2021. So really briefly then, innovative financing allows you to use your portfolio pot as a lending pot. So essentially you become a lender to other businesses, and they'll actually borrow from your portfolio pot and usually then pay you back an interest rate, usually somewhere between 3 to 6%. Now, usually this money is tied up for 3 to 5 years as a result of that. So it's not the most liquid of ISAs if you're looking to, withdraw from this portfolio on a regular basis. Now, because we're going to be getting a much better interest rate than we would say with a typical bank or savings account, it definitely makes sense to have this as part of our monthly budgeting plan. And as you can see, we're contributing £100 per month towards our innovative finance ISA. Now, beneath that, we have my own personal favorite, the stocks and shares ISA, the one that allows us to get probably the most latitude out of all the ISAs within the UK. And as you can see, we're contributing £200 towards that. Again, I've talked about stocks and shares ISA once again within the ISAs video. So if you want to know more detail about stocks and shares ISA, be sure to go ahead and check out that video. Now, if we look beneath that, as you can see, we're making £300 contribution per month towards a property investment venture or fund. Now, this is something that I'm going to be personally doing myself. I've actually mentioned it quite a few times on this channel now, where I'm going to be looking to set up and start a property investment business. So once again, I've pretty much taken a leaf out of my book here and included it within this particular example. So our final investment then, as per our example, is going to be towards a lifetime ISA. Now, the lifetime ISA is a unique ISA, and it's unique within a few ways, mainly because its primary goal is to go towards either a home deposit for a first home or to go towards your retirement fund. Now, also what makes it special is that it allows you to get a bonus of 25% per tax year. So let's say you contributed £1,000 within the tax year, you would get a bonus of £250. So with that kind of return, it definitely makes sense to have that as part of our investments. So the next table we're going to be taking a look at is going to be our variable essentials. These are going to be things that tend to fluctuate throughout the year more so than our fixed recurring bills. So as you can see, the first example that we have is fuel. Now, fuel tends to be one, for example, if you're looking to take maybe more longer car journeys within a given month, then of course you want to contribute more of your income towards that specific fuel bill. However, on the other side of the scale, you may be someone who is working from home and might not need to contribute such a large amount to the fuel bill for that given month. Another example that you can see in the table would be our food bill. Now, some may argue that it's better to have a fixed monthly food bill, but I actually put forward the point that there are some times, like let's say we're in normal times and not currently locked down, you may be celebrating, a party, a birthday party, a christening party, and there may be times when you need to spend a lot more on the food bill, especially if you're having a massive party, you need to cater for a large amount of people, than you would do on a typical normal month. So it's always good, I think, to have some leverage there within your food bill. And for that reason, I've kept the food bill within the variable essentials. Feel free to move it into the fixed side if you're someone who knows for a fact they're not going to be changing their food bill, or in that case, even their fuel bill on a monthly basis. And of course, you have things like haircuts, hairdressing, toiletries, miscellaneous items, that sort of thing as well. So the final table that we're going to be talking about, our final contribution table that is going to be our liquid savings, could also be called our sinking funds. Now, these are going to be things that we're going to be saving up for on a monthly basis. So let's take a look at what we've got in the table. So first and foremost, we have our emergency fund. Now, I've talked about the importance of making sure that you have an emergency fund, mainly because life simply happens, accidents happen, and it's always good to make sure you have a reserve amount of cash there that you can pull down from. So we definitely want to be making contributions to our emergency fund if we haven't already got one. Again, if you prefer to actually put this as part of your investments, feel free to do that. But because I see the emergency fund as more as of a liquid fund, in the case of when we need to pull it out, we can pull it out straight away, I've included it within the liquid savings side. We also have a potential holiday. Hopefully that'll be something that we can do more once we're out of lockdown. So we're contributing £100 towards that. We've also got car service and maintenance. Hey, you never know when your car is going to break down on you. So of course you want to make sure you got a savings pot there to make any car repairs necessary. We've also got presents, birthdays and gifts as well, and Christmas. So of course you want to definitely make contributions towards that throughout the year. The last thing you want to do is, take out any loans or go into our overdraft to try and compensate for any gifts or presents. Same with the car maintenance as well. Therefore, you want to make sure you've got a reserve amount of cash for those specific occasions. Now, as you can see in this example, there might be a new phone that we might want to buy. Now, of course, we're not going to finance the phone. We're going to pay it outright in cash. So therefore, we need to make monthly savings. In this case, we're making £50 per month towards that new phone. And then finally, of course, we have a home deposit of £300 per month. Now, let's say for argument's sake, this particular person would not be using their lifetime ISA for a home deposit, but instead for retirement. In that case, then they want to keep their home deposit separate, and therefore they have it listed here on the liquid savings. So that pretty much concludes all of our contributions towards our monthly budget. So let's take a look at the next row and see what the information is telling us. So then let's start off with the outgoing totals. Now, the outgoing totals gives us a nice amalgamation of all of the grand totals of each individual section. So as you can see here, on our debt, we're spending £320 per month. On our bills, we're spending £867 per month. On our investments, we're spending £750 per month. On our variable essentials, we're spending £160 per month. And then on our liquid savings, we're spending £720 per month. And if we look over onto our remaining balance, which is the purple small table here, as you can see, we still have £203 remaining. Now, up to this point, it's not quite yet a zero-based budget because we still have £203 remaining and we need to allocate that amount of money somewhere. That is where the next table comes in, called remainder allocation. This is where we're going to be allocating and telling what to do with that remaining £203 and where it needs to go to be most efficient. So as you can see, we're allocating 25% of this £203 towards debt repayment. It could be towards any debt of your choosing. Of course, we can use the debt snowball method. So we'll start with the smallest debt first that we have, and then slowly work up to the more larger debts. But in this case, of that £203, we're contributing £50.75. Now, beneath the debt repayment, we're also making contributions towards our liquid savings. And the reason we're doing that is because a lot of the items that tend to be within the liquid savings, as you can see from this example, tend to tempt people to go into debt. So they want to buy a new phone, they'll take out financing for it. They want to buy a new car, they'll take out financing for it. They want to spend out for Christmas, they'll take out a loan or dip into the overdraft. Now, of course, we want to try and prevent that. So any remainder allocation that we have from our budget, we want to try and funnel those funds back into our liquid savings to reduce the chances of us taking out any additional loans or pulling anything from a credit card. So as you can see, we've got another 25% going towards that, valued at £50.75. Now, beneath that, of course, we have family activities. Now, come on, guys, I'm not that boring. I do want you to go out and have fun. And therefore, I've allocated 20% of that remaining balance for you to use on family activities. Now, again, since we're currently all locked down, it might be difficult to actually utilize those funds. But as you can see, based on our remaining allocation, we're going to spend £40.60 on that. Now, beneath that, of course, we've got 10% going towards eating out. So yes, I'm being very kind to you guys. You got another 10% from the remaining allocation to go towards eating out with your friends and family. And that is going to be an expense of £20.30 based on our remaining allocation. Now, beneath that, we have date night. So it might be an online date given the circumstances that we are in now. But again, we've got 10% of the allocation of funds to go to that. And in this case, based on our remaining allocation, that gives us £20.30 spent on that. And then finally, you've got your whatever you want to do with it money, also known as the pocket money. And we've got another 10% going towards that at a value of £20.30. And finally, to the right of the remainder allocation table, we also have an outgoings chart, which gives us a nice visual representation so we can see where all of our funds are going on a percentage basis. So as you can see, we have 10% going towards debt. We have 29% going towards our recurring bills. We have 25% going towards our investments. We have 5% going towards our variable essentials. We have 24% going towards our liquid savings. And we had 7% left in our remaining balance, which we've now redistributed to other areas within our budget. And that's it, guys. That is all of our funds utilized for the month, making this officially a zero-based budget. Now, for this example, as you can see, I have been working on the January budget, but this same budget layout applies to all the months throughout the year. And of course, simply for this example, every single month is going to look the same. Now, when you actually receive this template, you're going to get a blank version of this, but I'll also include this version in here so you can see how it works before you actually start adding any of your personal income into it. Now, once we've got to the end of the year, of course, we're going to want to find out how our monthly budgeting went and what our end of year summary looks like. So as you can see, when we're looking at the end of year summary, it gives us a total breakdown of all of our spending throughout the year, including our total income after tax. So in this case, our total income after tax was £36,240. And then finally, to the right of that, once again, we'll get a pie chart, which will show us our total allocations over the year, depending on how our spending went. Now, for the purpose of this specific example, I've actually used the same data or the same numbers from January to December. And that is why, if you take a look at this chart here on the end of year summary, the amount chart, you'll see the values shown here are exactly the same as, say, they would be in December, the same as they would be in November. Now, your mileage may vary because throughout the year, you may get a promotion at work, which will increase your income stream. You may pick up a new side hustle, which will again increase your income stream. You may sadly lose one of your income streams, which will reduce your income. You may decide to move house, where that will mean that your mortgage price or your rent price will change. You may pick up a new bill. You may manage to pay off one of your debts, which means you can allocate the money elsewhere. So again, your mileage will definitely vary, and therefore you're going to see a lot of differences, a lot of peaks and troughs throughout your budgeting template, and therefore your average amount that's shown here within this pie chart will look a lot different than the monthly charts that are going to be shown across the year. So now guys, that has been a full walkthrough of my budgeting template. Once again, that is going to be available from my Etsy store, link in the description down below. If you have any questions based on the budgeting template, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button down below. And if you want to see more videos like this based on personal finance, investing and wealth building, this is the channel for it. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when we actually upload videos to this channel. Anyway guys, it's been Adam here. Thank you for watching. Take care, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.